Hello, welcome to the Powerful Marketing Tips podcast. I am your host, Mari-Liis Vaher. So, Byron Sharp has said it very well that for a brand to grow, it must be available both mentally and physically. In other words, you must be easy to find and, even more importantly, easy to remember. And this is the topic we discuss today with my guest, Vance Morris, who is an expert in customer experience and customer retention. So, welcome, Vance. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on the show.
We are so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. So, could you please share with our listeners a bit about your professional background first? And I must say, I really want to hear your family's journey from Lithuania as well. So,
Well, sadly, I have not been. My mother was born in Lithuania, and my Lithuanian is very rusty. Labas to everyone. Um, I wish I had more, but I spent professionally now,
Mhm,
spent a little over a decade working for the Disney company down in
mhm,
Florida, where I was on the operations team of their resorts and was on the design team of some of their restaurants and attractions and opened up a number of them. So it was a really good basis for what I was going to be doing moving forward.
mhm.
Along the way, I've had some pretty high profile jobs working for the Smithsonian Museum System, Kennedy Center for Performing Arts, just to name a couple. Along the way, I realized I make a lousy employee. I just don't like to be told what to do, which is probably why a lot of us are
Quite honest.
uh, self-employed. And so in about 19 years ago, in '07, I started a home service business. I figured, why not, right? So we
Mhm,
started. It's what every small boy dreams of doing. Let's open a carpet cleaning business. So we did that, and from the beginning, I targeted affluent clients
mhm,
because this was going to be a premium level service. Along the way, we added a Oriental rug washing facility to it, as well as a mold remediation company. Those businesses now run on autopilot. I spend about 90 minutes a week on them, primarily because we implemented systems. So we have a marketing system and an
mhm.
operations system, et cetera. And I just told the manager, all you have to do is manage the systems. You don't have to do anything else. Don't screw with anything, please. Just manage the systems. So now I spend about an hour a week. I meet with him, and then the rest of the time, I still have control of the bank accounts and credit cards, and I'll never relinquish control of that.
Mhm.
So that's been going for about 7 or 8 years now, which gives me the time to be a consultant and coach with other small businesses on how to create experiences for their customers so that they have what I call raving fans for life.
Mhm. I love it. And how hard can it be? Just don't screw with the systems, right?
That it that's really it.
Well, it can be hard, let's be honest.
Well, when he has, and that's the reason we meet weekly is that if he has ideas, whether, new revenue ideas, new experience ideas, we talk them through and
Mhm,
then he goes and implements them. And then
mhm,
after a week or two, we get back together, we recap what happened. If it's working, great. We make it part of the system. If it didn't work, well, we tried. Maybe we tweak something else. But once we
mhm.
have the system, we don't change it until we all agree that we're changing it.
Oh my God, I love that. We at Powerful Marketers, we're all about systems, right?
Yes.
Because one of our slogan that we use actually is work smarter, not harder. And it all comes down to checklists and workflows and,
Yep.
systems that,
Yeah.
right, that can help you. But I do want to talk about that. But I first want to touch the Disney world
Sure.
because for me, it's where the magic happens, right? And one of my favorite quotes, I think it also comes from Walt Disney. It was, "If you can dream of it, you can do it." Was
Yes.
it? So
100%.
I just love it.
Yeah.
So, and we all know that Disney is, world master in customer experience, and whatever they do, they are all about creating experience, right?
Yep.
But most businesses, what I don't know, you can, probably, I hope that you don't see that there are most businesses like that. But what I see is that most businesses are stuck in a cycle of chasing leads and, discounting prices,
Yep.
etc., just to get attention. So Where should
Yeah.
we even start?
Eh, well, I mean, the great thing with Disney, and this is where I learned about systems and processes, is that, Disney has a system for
Mhm,
everything. I mean, if you
mhm,
want to change a bus tire, they have a system. If you want to carry a tray in a restaurant, they have a system. And what systems do is they give freedom in parts of your brain so that you're literally operating the system through rote. I mean, it's just muscle memory. You're going through it, and that leaves brain capacity for you to do all of the nice things that Disney is known
mhm,
for, taking pictures and autographs and directions and everything. So, and that's also how they provide a consistent great experience, is because they have the systems to back that up. And you're right, people are constantly, chasing all of the little shiny objects that are out there to try and
mhm,
uh, work on their business,
uh-huh,
which if they just focused on the customers they already have, they wouldn't have these problems. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who'll tell you, here's how to get, 10,000 likes by Tuesday, and it'll only be $47. I mean,
mhm,
it, to me, it's just crapola, for lack of a better word. Um,
mhm,
you know, if you can design an experience system, most of your new customers are going to come from referrals, and you don't need to do flake book ads or things like that. If you go to Disney today,
mhm.
80% of the people there right now have been there before. Only 20% are new. And I
80%.
yeah,
That's
and I
low.
figure if that ratio is good enough for Disney, it's good enough for me. And so that's the goal we have in all of our businesses. And when I work with other companies is, okay, let's get to an 80% return rate, repeat rate, repurchase rate, whatever you want to call it, so that we only have to worry about 20% for
Mhm,
our growth.
mhm.
Because getting a new customer is very expensive.
Mhm. It is.
I mean, for the last month, I just got the numbers for our home service businesses. It costs $137 to get a new customer in the front door. That's
Mhm, mhm,
the Google ad, that's the person answering the phone, everything that goes into getting a new customer. Last year, it
mhm,
only cost me $23 for the entire year to keep a customer. So the
mm,
minute we serve an existing customer, we're already over $100 more profitable.
mhm. I love that. But let's talk about, I understand the small business owners struggle as well, because in the short run, they need to have sales. But in the long run, of course, they need to create the experience. So what would you suggest for the, I don't know, those small, medium-sized companies who have never thought of even, building an experience? I have a feeling that businesses who are in B2B sectors are more, creating that experience, because usually the contracts are very long term and so on,
Mhm.
right? Especially with the B2C, it's hard for me to see that, how that
Yeah,
happens.
but I think, it can be done, because I mean, I work in both B2C and
Mhm,
B2B,
mhm,
and you want to, for if you're doing, if, mom and pop business, small business,
mhm.
you want to look at the entire customer journey. And that's one of the boring and not very sexy things that you have to do, is map out the customer journey. So where's the point where your company interacts with the customer, and all of the points from
Mhm,
beginning to end. And once you do that, you can then identify where can we make an experience, or where can we improve the experience for our customers. And so Walt Disney called this plussing, which is constant process improvement or constant improvement. So he would ask,
mm,
where can we plus this? So let's say answering the telephone, right? How do you make an experience out of answering the phone? So I worked with a number of insurance agents. This is going back a few years.
mhm,
And if you called most insurance agents, they all say, thank you for calling Dave's Insurance. How can I help you? Sounds like a million other companies out there. But my client was, when I went to visit him, is a huge rock and roll fanatic. I mean, he's got posters on the walls, autographed guitars, gold records, everything in his office. And so we decided that, I think we should really lean into this personality a little bit. So we turned him into the rock and roll insurance guy. And his receptionist came up with the way to answer the phone. So instead of, thank you for calling Dave's Insurance, they now answer it, thank you for calling Dave's Insurance, the agency that rocks. Now, I mean, it sounds a little corny the first couple of times you say it, but if you think about your marketing, it's designed to do two things: attract the people you want to do business with and repel the people that you don't want. And just
Mhm.
by answering the phone this way, they're sift sorting and screening out anybody who would be a bad client for them
Mhm.
and attracting the ones that they want. And also answering the phone that way, it separates him from everybody else out
Mhm.
there. I mean, in his town, there's probably, I don't know, 30 or 40 insurance agents.
Mhm.
So by being able to answer the phone this way and creating an experience out of answering the phone, he's able to separate himself from everybody else out there.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that. So I also talk a lot about how marketing and sales and client service, should align all the processes, right? And I love that you bring that out here so strongly because I truly believe in that myself as well. Because if marketing is promising something and sales is converting already the lead, then
Yep.
now we need to deliver that, right?
Exactly.
Even more, let's
Yeah.
be honest. So that's really nice. But in my opinion, some companies are just they see that what is missing, or they see, what can be improved on that, different touch points. But I have a feeling sometimes companies are just not ready to do that because it requires a lot. Let's be honest. You should
Mm,
work with your, all the systems needs to be
yeah.
improved. And it's not something that you do overnight or even
No.
over a quarter or even
Right.
over a year. Oh, what are your
Well,
thoughts on that?
yeah, well, I think you have to do it in iterations, so step by
Mm.
step. So, for example, if you ordered a copy of my book, all
Mhm,
right, you can get it on Amazon
mhm,
and it comes in a plain brown box or a plain brown wrapper. Not much of an experience, right?
mhm,
But if you order it from me, so you can get the book directly from me, we will fulfill it. We used to send it in a plain brown box. And then I thought, you know what? That's not much of an experience. We need to plus this. So I created a custom box, and
mhm,
book started going in. Very nice. You open it up and it's got, nice text and imagery and everything in it. And then I'm like, okay, well, how do we plus that? I said, well, it's a book. It should probably have a bookmark. So then we put a bookmark in there. And then a couple of months later, we're like, well, it's kind of a workbook. Maybe we should include a pen. Fine, great. Now there's a pen in there. And then I'm thinking, oh, well, they just bought something from me. I should probably thank them. So now there's a thank you note in the box. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'm sending all this stuff. I might as well send a sales letter too. So then I put a sales letter in there. So now it's a complete unboxing
mhm,
experience
mhm,
when you open it. Now, that process took me probably close to a year to go from plain brown box to the box that we have right now.
mhm.
And so you just have to start with one thing and say, okay, how are we going to improve this? How are we going to plus this? Don't try and do 10 things, just pick one.
Mhm. I love that. And what I hear you saying is that it all comes down to the common mindset in a company that this
Mhm.
is what we are doing from now on. And then you start to see those things, right?
Right. And you need to bring your team in. I mean, if you have
Mhm,
employees, they're the ones that
mhm,
do the job all the time. Ask them, how
mhm.
can we make this better? How can we create an experience out of whatever it is we're doing?
I love that. So tell me about some mistakes you have seen over the years. I'm sure you have worked with so
Oh,
many, different organizations, and I'm sure you have some fun stories.
well, yeah, guy, some are probably not appropriate for a podcast, but I think one of the big things that businesses miss, and this is really across every industry, is they no longer answer their telephone live, right? It goes
Mhm,
to a bot or an answering machine or, the thing with the 9 options on it. And, none of them are connecting to a live person. So I really think businesses now will have the competitive advantage if they answer the phone live. So if you call any of my companies, there's a real person answering the telephone every single time because I mean, I know my competitors, they'll send you to their answering service or their answering machine and it'll
mhm,
say, press 1 for this or 2 for that or 3 for this. And by the time I get to 3 or 4, I'm like, oh, forget it. I just want, I just hang up. And, in these days with AI and bots and everything, the businesses that answer their phones live or have an option to immediately get to a human are going to have the competitive advantage. That's one of the biggest mistakes, is relying on technology to do stuff that really a human should be doing, because
Mhm.
technology doesn't have empathy. It doesn't realize, oh my gosh, if we
Mhm.
made a mistake, the bot can't tell from the voice or from the image if you're on video. So
Mhm.
there is a place for AI and technology, and that's support. It should not
Mhm.
take the place of, true customer service or customer experience. I mean, even so here in the States, we have Chick-fil-A. Have you familiar with Chick-fil-A?
No, what is
No?
it?
Okay. Well, it's just like McDonald's,
Yeah.
except that they sell chicken sandwiches.
Mhm.
And so if you go to a McDonald's, the drive-through, you have to
Mhm.
talk into this little box,
Mhm.
and it's very difficult to understand the other
Yep, I
person.
know.
You know, they usually just grunt at you. They're not even very pleasant. And at the end of it, you hope you get your order right.
Mhm.
Now, if you go to a Chick-fil-A, okay, it is the complete opposite. That you don't have a box to talk into. There's actually people standing outside of the drive-through greeting
Wow.
you to take your order. And so if you have questions, it's easy. You can see faces and
Mhm.
expressions and things like that. They say thank you and please and my pleasure. It is a completely different fast food experience than McDonald's. Now,
Mhm.
I mean, a chicken sandwich is a chicken sandwich. I mean, yeah, they're good, but they're not. I
I
mean,
get it.
it's nothing exciting, right? But here's where it correlates to profits. Your average McDonald's, they do about $4.5 million a year in sales. A lot
Mhm.
of them are open 24 hours a day, definitely open 7 days a week. If you go to a Chick-fil-A, their average sales are over $8 million for one store, and they're closed on Sunday.
Wow, really?
Yes.
I
So
wonder, I've never heard of them. Oh my God, now I feel
yeah,
bad.
you should. I don't know if they're outside of the U.S. or not. I just know that if you're I mean, fast food is a very commoditized business. I mean, it's just
Yeah, I know. Mhm.
everything looks the same. Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, Burger
Yeah.
King.
I know all of them, but I just didn't know that specific one.
Yeah,
That's why yeah, okay.
but if you go to, Taco Bell, McDonald's, or
Yeah.
Burger King,
Mhm.
you're gonna get the same experience, right? It's you talking to the little box, and you'll get your baggie of food thrown
Mhm.
out, at you. You go to Chick-fil-A, there's humans greeting you, and they literally, instead of a window to pass the food through and you hope that you can catch it, they have a door, and the person actually walks to your car and delivers your food. Completely different experience.
Mhm. No, I love them already. I wish I can visit them.
Yeah. Well,
But
when you're in the US, please come.
I was
We'll go to
there just
Chick-fil-A.
like a month ago. That's why I was, if I next time I will visit them for sure, because I agree with you. The more I see AI and all the technology, coming, taking things over, so to say, I see that people are even more, searching for the
Right,
genuine human contact and those. And myself, as a customer myself, I always seek, a real person that I can talk to.
right.
Of course, I understand if I'm just trying to check out what are the, I don't know, opening times. Of course, it's okay if the AI gives me that information, right?
Sure.
But if I want to have any conversation, then of course I
Yeah,
always prefer human being. So
yeah,
I'm with you 100% here.
yeah.
But but
And
let's talk about the
the
systems as well, because you already mentioned that it requires systems, and we also love systems. So how can we still build the system so that we can make sure that everybody are working towards
Sure.
experience?
Well, the easy way, and this is pretty much how I did it, except we didn't have AI 19 years
Hmm.
ago, is to record yourself doing your job. Literally, just video
That's
record, audio
huge.
record. That's all you have to do. And now, before, you would just get it transcribed, and then you would pick and choose and
Hmm.
make your systems out of that. Now you can just take that whole video, upload it to AI, and say, hey, pull out all of the operating procedures that you heard, and let's create an SOP. It's literally that
Yeah.
easy. But you have to, again, do one a day or one a week. At the
Hmm.
end of the year, you'll have 50 of them. So let's say it's, again, answer the telephone. So this week, we're going to create the system for answering the phone. And you look at how do we do it right now? And then you brainstorm either with yourself, if you're a solopreneur, or
Mm-hmm.
with your team. How should we answer the phone so that we sound different from everybody else, or we provide a better experience or a better service than anybody else? It could be, maybe right now you answer the phone in 4 rings. Okay, well, let's plus that. And now we're going to answer the phone in 3 rings. That's our new standard. And then 2 or 3 months down the road, okay, that's not good enough. We're going to answer the phone in 2 rings. And so your service is getting better over time. And then you can look at how you answer the phone. What's the script? What do you
Mm-hmm.
want to say? What do you want to portray? Your voice obviously transmits a lot. And so we even go and we put mirrors in front of the people who have to answer the phone, because if you're smiling, you can't look at yourself and kind of like not smile. If you're smiling, that's going to come across the phone
Yeah.
as well. If you look at yourself and you're grumpy, well, that's how it's going to come across on the phone. And so
Oh
when
my
you have
God.
the script now you have consistency, right? You have the person is answering the phone the same way at 8 o'clock in the morning as they are at 4 in the afternoon when they're tired and ready to go home,
Mm-hmm.
because this is how we answer the phone. It's a performance. Think of Disney. I mean, everything they do is a performance,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the rides, the attractions, the shows, everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they call them cast members. They're not called employees, they're called cast
Mm-hmm.
members because they are performing a role in the Disney show. So we want our employees to perform a role in our show. And
Mm-hmm.
we tell them exactly what to say, how to say it, where to stand, everything.
I love that. It's our show.
It is
It's yeah,
100%.
it's a great mindset shift, and I never thought of recording ourselves, for that purposes. And I
Right.
really love that. I remember I had once this coach who told me to record myself when I was giving a speech, and I hated myself, but I knew why I needed that, right? Because you get to see how your body language
Yep.
is working and so on. So that is such a great tip,
And
Vance.
and I would, suggest you record your telephone calls with your customers and
Mhm.
your vendors and
Mhm.
go back and listen to them.
Mhm.
You don't have
Mhm.
to listen to every one, but I would, listen to 2 or 3 from every week. And one, are people following the system? So you
Mhm.
have to inspect what you're expecting. And 2, if they are, well, you should give them a pat on the back, celebrate them. And if they're not, well, we got a little bit of correcting to do and a little bit of coaching to do, because those systems become the standard in which you measure people's performance. So, because
Mhm.
you don't want to compare Susie to Tom. Like Susie, you should do it the way Tom does, because Tom does it. This, is what
Mhm.
is better. No, you want to compare Susie to the standard.
Mm.
So it makes it a lot more fair, and
Fun. Mhm.
there's no personality in it. It's here.
Mhm.
Here it is.
Oh my God. I really love that, Vance.
Ah,
So please tell me, just from the top of your head, what was the last, like the really bad experience you had yourself? Maybe you
really.
went to the
Oh my.
cafeteria or a restaurant or just a, store you went to.
Well, you know what?
No
Here's a
names.
bad one.
Just share with me. I'd
Yeah.
like to hear your takeaway.
Yeah, no, I will. And this just happened last week. And so when you have a service problem, you also have a sales problem. And I call it the sales prevention department. And so I was online and I wanted to buy a couple of shirts
Mhm.
from a vendor, Tommy Bahama.
Mhm.
And, like a lot of sites, there's a little pop up that comes and says, hey, save 15% if you put your email address in.
Mhm.
Okay, fine. I put my email
Mhm.
address in. I know what they're trying to do. And then another pop-up comes up and says, okay, to complete this, put your phone number in. Fine, I did that. The
Mhm.
next screen that pops up is, okay, we'll send you your discount code within the next 24 hours. I'm like, no, I want to buy my shirts now. I don't want to wait. I want to wait for
That's
your
good.
convenience when it's time to buy. I want to buy the thing
Mhm.
now. And so you have to, so if you are online a lot, or if you rely on your website, you should be going through your website as a customer and
Mm.
testing out all of the buttons. I don't know what idiot thought it was a great idea to delay sending the discount code
Yeah,
by a
that's
full day.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
just
You
stupidity.
lose a client. Of
Yeah, but
course.
I didn't buy the shirts. I said, "Forget it." Just because
Oh
it
my God.
just because it irritated me.
Okay. No,
I can get
that's a
t-shirts
good.
anywhere.
That's a really good example. But what about the opposite? The really good one you remember recently? Maybe something.
Really good one is there's a company called Chewy, which delivers dog food and dog treat and
Hmm.
pet stuff. And their communication is great, because we're on a repeat ordering. So they send you an email like a week before, says, "Hey, we're getting ready to send you dog food. Do you want it now or do you want to wait a week?" And so if you just let it go, they say, okay, and they get another email, "Okay, your order is shipping today." They usually ship it FedEx, so it's here in 2 days. It's great. So their service overall is really good.
Hmm.
Um, a few years ago, my dog passed away, and I stopped ordering dog food. And Chewy sent an email that said, "Hey, did we do something wrong? I noticed that you haven't ordered,
Right.
Hank his food in the last, month or so." And I replied, "Well, sorry, my dog passed away." Within 3 or 4 days, a box comes to my front door and it's full of condolences. There's a card on there that says, we're so sorry to hear the loss of your dog, Hank. Here's, you know, here's they included like little toys. And then there was a note in there that says, "Look, if you have any unopened bags of dog food, let us know and we'll give you credit for them." I'm like,
Wow.
"Okay, well, I've got one. Okay." I said, "Well, now what do I do with it?" And they said, "Okay, well, we'll give you the credit. Why don't you just go ahead and take it to your local animal shelter and just donate it?" And
Wow.
so they didn't have to do any of that, and they could have just treated me like a transaction. "Well, your dog died. I guess you're not buying food anymore," and be done with it.
I love that
No,
story.
they went through and they sent a package. Their condolences. Here's what to do with your leftover dog food. Here's a credit. I mean, just fantastic.
I'm sorry for your dog, of course. Fans,
Of
don't get
course.
me wrong, but I love that example. I really do love
Yeah.
that. So just the small, simple things, just
And
be
that's
human
something
being.
AI can't do.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Oh my God, I love that. And I could go on hours, but
Right.
please, please, let's try to wrap it up somehow for our listeners.
Okay.
So, why should we work towards creating experience, and why is it still number one goal for all of us in marketing?
Right. Well, one, it means money.
Mm.
I mean, it is experiences equal higher profits. I mean, you can go to your local county fair or carnival and, you have rickety rides and, questionable food and things like that.
Mhm.
And you probably spend $20 to go there and you know what you're going to get. Or you can create experiences on the level of Disney. And if you go to Disney today, it costs over $180 for one day at Disney.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of what Disney provides is the same thing you can get at the county fair. You can get a hot dog, you can get on a ride. But what gives us a 9x multiple, to get to $180? It's the overall experience that Disney is delivering. So certainly, if you want to have profits well and above your industry, whatever your industry norm is, delivering a exceptional or extraordinary experience is going to help you there. And then if you deliver a great experience, you're going to have customer retention. It's just
Mhm.
natural. And as I said earlier, it's a lot cheaper to serve an existing customer than it is a new one.
Mhm.
So, if you don't have a great experience, you really don't have much of a prayer to hold on to your existing customers.
Mm-hmm. I love that 100%. And it's proved over and over again how
Mhm.
that it's at least 7 times more cost effective to find
Yeah,
new leads, rather
right.
than working with the current ones. Oh my God. I love that discussion. I really do.
Yeah, thank you.
And for our own Spotify list and for our Pinterest list, please share one inspiring quote that resonates with what you do, and also one song that maybe motivates or grounds you.
Sure. Well, I only have one quote. It's the only one I use, and it's, "You won't profit unless you implement." So pick one idea, whether you heard it on this podcast or somewhere else, or you just read about it. Take one idea and implement it. Because without implementation, you can't move the needle. You're not going to have any kind of improvement. So certainly do that. And then the song, it's the Oompa Loompa song from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, that's
Because
nice.
every single one of the little vignettes has a very powerful lesson in it. And I am always reminded, when I was ordering those T-shirts, that's the first thing that popped in my mind was the little snotty girl that wanted everything right away. And Baruka Salt was her name, as the character. And she was like, I want it now. I want it now, Daddy. And that's kind of how I felt when I wanted to buy the shirts. I'm like, I want them now. So yeah, listen to the Oompa Loompa song. It's brilliant in its simplicity and its lessons.
I love that movie. Yeah, that is such a great song. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So last but not least, I'm sure listeners want to follow you and reach out to you, and maybe, you want to share something with them, and how can they reach out to you? We will add the links, of course, next to this episode. Yeah.
Sure. And I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Really, the only social media I do is LinkedIn. And I'm the only Vance Morris Disney guy there. Feel free to connect with me. Make sure you put in a note that says you heard me on the Powerful Marketing Podcast. And then I do have a gift for everybody, which is 52 ways to wow your customer. So there's one wow for every week of the year. So if you're not feeling very creative, you can get that at wow52ways.com.
Oh my God, I love that. I want to grab that myself.
Okay.
I love that. So, Vance, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and the stories. And I really resonated to all of that. And it has been such a pleasure. I really enjoyed that.
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show. Hopefully I delivered for your audience.
Of course, 100%. And to our listeners, if you want to dive deeper into building relationships, can, of course, grab my book, thegreatestmarketer.com. And I'm hoping to see you at the Powerful Marketers Hub as we continue to build systems that work.